Dr. Bartemus here today with functional medicine Charlotte client Melina, and Melina wanted to share her story with us. So, Melina, why did you first seek out functional medicine care?
Well, where do I begin? I had spent the last 4 years trying to figure out what is wrong with me, had seen multiple specialists, probably over 10, for the different symptoms that I was experiencing that came out of the blue. And everybody pretty much told me that nothing's wrong with me. I had basically my entire body scanned for all sorts of things. And I was fine, according to them. My anxiety was super high. My nervous system was working on overdrive, and I was just really in a bad place. So I was basically told that I should see a psychiatrist and maybe start, some therapy and some anti-anxiety medication, which I didn't think was really the solution I was looking for because my body was just telling me something's really wrong here. So um, since I exhausted all the avenues with Western medicine, I thought, well, let me see what else is out there. In fact, a friend of mine had more knowledge in functional medicine. She sort of opened my eyes to it. And then I started digging in and it all made a lot of sense. The fact that you're not concerned with any particular system in the body, but you look at the person as a whole, which should be always the case with I think, with any medicine, but it is not, sadly, and a lot of things are missed. So that's how I started looking for a functional medicine specialist and all the good feedback that you had received. I read and I decided, well, I will drive 3.5 hours to Charlotte from Atlanta and come see you.
Excellent. And could you dive in a little bit more of what were more specific messages that your body was giving you to say, hey, I need to look elsewhere?
Sure. Well, I had a lot of neurological symptoms. I had brain fog. I had brain zaps. I had muscle cramps, GI issues. I had musculoskeletal pain, joint pain, um, trying to capture all of it. But these were sort of the main, I mean, severe anxiety, that was debilitating almost. I just felt like I wanted to come out of my skin and just leave my body so I can take a break. I mean, I felt so on edge in fight or flight mode at all times.
Hmm. And so you were told just get on the psychiatric med and all will be good. You didn't believe that. And so we worked together, and how was our investigation different from what you had had to that point?
Well, in many ways, I mean, it's hard to even compare. It's like apples and oranges, but um, you know, like I said, first of all, reviewing all of my previous records from the past 7 years. I mean, that's my entire medical history, basically. Um, that's sort of the background uh, for you, which I thought was fantastic because I didn't have to sit down and give you my entire medical history. And you saw the data, you saw the scans, you saw everything. That was the first thing. And then looking at things that nobody had even suspected. I remember when I talked to you on the 15-minute complimentary call before I even saw you, and I gave you all my symptoms, and you said immediately, well, that sounds like CIRS. And I thought, oh, well, I know it's not CIRS. It can't be CIRS because of what I had read about it. I thought, well, am I going to explore another avenue now that's not going to take me anywhere? I had already spent a lot of money in the past 4 years, and I thought, well, but then I thought, well, just going to, give it a try and sort of have an open mind. And the fact that you even explored that avenue and did all the testing that we had to do and confirmed that there was a component of it, which was huge as far as my symptoms. I mean, it eliminated probably 90% of my symptoms that I had. Um, that led me to think that I'm not always right, and WebMD is not always right. And you should have an open mind, when you're looking at those things. But again, I think looking at the bigger picture, exploring these different avenues that I hadn't before. I mean, a GI map, for instance. I mean, my GI specialist, who I've seen for 10 years now, he did not want to order it for me because he didn't know how to interpret the results. I mean, that
Some
tells
GI
you
specialist.
specialist, one of the top ones in Atlanta, actually. Now, I'm sure he's great at other things,
Mhm.
but simple things like this, which sometimes it's not rocket science. Sometimes it is science, but it's not that complicated. You just have to have the data and address it. So, and then the 17 vials of blood I had to give.
Yeah.
That told me that we are looking at a lot more than you would at just your general visit, the doctor.
Yeah. And the bloodletting is worth it if we can find answers, right? So
100%. I would do it again.
so we're able to find answers, and we can create strategies based on those answers that are individualized and specific to Melina versus saying, hey, anxiety, we give everyone with anxiety this, right? So with our
Correct.
ability to be specific to you, what has the outcome been?
Right. Well, specific to me, I mean, like I said, I would say 90% of my symptoms are gone. Um, it's been life-changing, really, for me. It has been, I just feel more like myself now than I had in many, many years. And though I'm still working through some stuff, it's much easier now when you've eliminated, certain issues or challenges and addressed them through a plan that's customized to me with you, um, and able to truly address the cause versus giving, you know, band-aids, what I call them, to all the symptoms that I was having, because this time last year I was probably on 5 different medications and I was still feeling horrible, you know?
Yeah.
So now I don't have that issue. And more importantly, I did not take one medication um, during the plan that I had with you. So I mean, I don't know what
You're
more
already
there is to
healthier.
ask for. Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm very thankful to have met you, and that you were open-minded enough to pursue this path. And I'm thankful that you're willing to share your story, because you know that there's lots of other people out there looking for answers like you were. So thank you for being willing to do this. And I guess if you have any parting remarks for someone who might be on the fence, um, feel free to share those.
Sure. I mean, was I on the fence initially? Probably, because I think it's so ingrained in us that, first of all, doctors, and I'm talking about, MDs in Western medicine, know everything and they have a solution for everything. But I feel like perhaps through the years that has changed, at least in my opinion, since my career was in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, specifically in medical diagnostics. So I'm very familiar as to how this business works.
Mhm.
And with time, you realize it's really not the right approach in certain cases. To send you home with a prescription. Um, so I would say to people, be open-minded, trust the reviews that people leave, because if you take the time, I don't know about you, but I will only leave a review if it's a 1 star, if it's a 5 star. Spending the time to sit down and write something, um, really for other people to benefit. I mean, people just don't have time for that. So, um, read the reviews and do your homework, do your research. There's so much out there, although I wish more people knew about functional medicine. But I really feel like it is sort of a new path forward in addressing a number of conditions that at times are not even recognized by Western medicine, like mold toxicity is in my case. So that's all.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your story. And if you're out there wanting to use Melina as a role model to be 90% plus better in a short period of time, reach out at functionalmedicinecharlotte.com.